Therefore, you should be able to look back. You got to remind me when I start to record the lesson. Okay. So we're going to do it annually, quarterly, and let's make this middle one monthly or bi-weekly. Oh, we'll add another one here that says bi-weekly. Let's go weekly. What would bi-weekly be? Yep. Okay, no problem. Well, perfect. I started recording. Yeah. Good. So how many times a year would you get paid? Yeah. Good. Which is what? 26. All right. So let's fill in my equation here. My equation is, I'll put it up here. Amount equals 26. Principal bracket 1 plus r over n to the power of Tn. So there's my equation. So I'm going to do it 4 times. I'll do in black. So let's plug in this one. A equals 5,000. Bracket 1 plus 0.065 divided by, we're doing it annually. So what's annually? How many times a year is annually? 1. And then we're going for 10 years times 1. So 5,000 times 1.065 times 10. Which is going to equal now this is where you need to get your calculator skills up to speed, right? So did everyone else get 9,385? $5,000 is your principal. I changed it up here. Yeah. I wanted to do the same investment we did in simple interest so we could see the difference between the two of them. 10. 10 times 1. No, I got 9,000. Anyone else got 9,000? Pardon? Which one? 5. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do option C here now. So amount equals 5,000 times 1 plus 0.065. What's going to go under here this time? What's my end value when it's quarterly? No, quarterly is quarterly. You football players should know what quarterly is. How many quarters in a football game, Colin? So what number goes underneath? Because you divide the year into 4, right? And up here is going to be t times 4, 10 times 4. Pardon? Okay, you see what I got there now? So it's 5,000 times 1.0121625 to the power of 40, because 10 times 4 is 40. Let me look. 40. Nope. I got this number. It is. Good. So I'm going to do the last one now too. So if we did it weekly, right? Once a week. Good. Oops. Divided by 52. And up here it'd be 10 times 52. Shoot. I want to show you guys how I plug it into my calculator. Shall I do this? Colin, remain focused. I know. Hi. So let me So here's how I would type it in my calculator. You guys see my screen, right? I would go 0.065 divided by 52. Press equals. What? Okay, then add 1 to this number. So I'm kind of working inside out. Plus 1. Yep. Oh, geez. You should just be able to go plus 1. My calculator, for some reason, didn't. Correct. Now, why isn't that? Okay, then I take that number that I got. You guys should just be able to work continuously, right? And times this by 5,000. Yeah, then this goes to the power of 52 times 10. Why does that say undefined? Yeah, which would be 520, right? Yeah. What is wrong with my answer? Why am I getting... Okay. Alright, one second here. I'll do it all on my calculator. My answer's not working. Okay, I'll come back to that. But do you guys see how this compound interest, this guy made $9,500 here. But up here, using simple interest, he only made $8,000. The exact same interest, exact same time, just compound interest because it compounds on itself, allowed it to make more. Okay? I'm going to give you another formula now too, because we can always try to find the amount, but we can also ask questions about, I'll write it down here, about this one here. How much should you involve and how much should you invest? So instead of trying to find the A, right, which we did up here, we're trying to find the amount. We're trying to find what P equals. So the formula to find P is actually this. P equals A times 1 plus R over N to the power of negative Tn. Does that make sense to everybody? I'll show you after, once we're done these two questions, we'll come back and do notes to self. It's an investment. Okay? And everything's still the same here. So in this case, I like to write down what all my letters mean, personally. So in this case, I have my A, my P, my R, my T, and my N. Who can tell me what my A is here? What's my final amount in this question? 10,000. We're looking for the principal. How much should you invest? So that's my missing thing right there. Who can? Pardon? It's just the way, like, financial language would be, right? How much should I put in the bank today to have this in the future, right? Yeah. No one really says, like, only people who know what principal means would understand if they said principal in there. So what's my rate in this question? Can someone tell me my rate? Good. What's my T? 10. Lawrence, watch, you have to divide that rate by 100, right? What's my N for this case? You do have an N. 4. Good. And then we'll plug it in to our calculation here. 10,000. That should be a better bracket. Now, I'm not going to give you the answer right away because I want you guys to try to run this in your calculators. This is one of those instances where, like, using your calculator is the most important thing. I'll see if I can find a... Usually I show you on my calculator, but I'll see if I can find a website that shows it really good. Once you have your answer, try to put it in the chat. TI3. Actually, I'll do this. Did anyone else get that number? That's the correct answer, Cam. Okay. So here's how I would plug it in my calculator. Okay. I would start here and go 0.06 divided by 4. Get that answer. Then I add the 1 to it. Plus 1. Oh, I understand why I was doing the question wrong. I times it by 10, times it by that number. Now I have to do the exponent. Then I'm going to do, oh Jesus, 0.06 divided by 4 plus 1. Then I hit my exponent button to the exponent of, and you kind of have to do this part in your head or figure out in your calculator first. This would be negative 40. Oops. Let me backspace there. 1.015 to the exponent of negative 40. There we go. Which gives you that number. So essentially I've done this whole part of my calculation. Then I times this by 10,000, which will give me my answer. Do you guys see that? Okay. 2 questions here to practice on. Then we'll shut her down so you guys can do some stuff. I'm going to mute everyone. There you go. I muted everyone. There's someone with that was beside a fish tank. Okay, suppose you need to borrow money to start a business. Your bank charges 6.4% semi-annually. You do not want to pay back more than $20,000 and want to repack the loan in 5 years. What is the maximum amount you can borrow for how much interest you want to pay? Let me see here. Yeah, no, I'm thinking right now. I want to do a simpler question. Let's do this one here. Suppose you have $3,000 in your bank account. You want to buy a computer and invest the remainder at 9% semi-monthly. If you want to have $2,000, in your account in 10 months from now, how much can you spend on your card? Okay, let's go back to this one. Then I'm going to take apart stuff on your homework. So I want to make it simple. I'm going to type you a question first. We're going to get rid of this question. And let's make a simple one. So let's say you invest $2,000 let's go with this one. You spend $2,000 on your credit card, and you do not pay any of the loan for 2 years. How much There's the question I have for you. You spend $2,000 on your credit card, and you do not pay any of the loan for 2 years. How much will you owe the credit card if the interest is 19.9% compounded daily? So amount equals P bracket 1 plus R over N times Tn. So what are we looking for here? Our final amount, or how much we need to put in right away? The final amount. Okay. What's our principal? What's our original amount? 2,000. Now, this is not an investment. This is like us paying a loan. But the principal or original amount's the same whether in the previous questions we were trying to figure out how much we're earning. In this question, we're figuring out how much we have to pay. Okay, but the same thing applies. What's my R in this case? What's my rate? 0.19, good, 99. What's my N? How many times is compounded per year? 365. And what's my T? What's my time in years? Yeah. 2. So it's going to be set up like this. Oops. Okay. Then I want everyone to try to get the answer using their calculator. This is an example of like how credit cards could go really bad in a way if you don't pay off a credit card. This would be questions just like the homework. One second. So let's plug it in their calculator together then. So first thing I would do, 0.199 divided by 365. And you're going to get that number, which looks scary, but don't worry about it. The E is in the number because that number is actually 0. So that says like 5.4 e to the 4, correct? Negative 4. Negative 4. That means it's scientific notation to mean instead of that number means that decimal place is going to move over 4 times. So it's actually 0.00054, whatever. Okay? But that's fine if it looks like that. That's fine if it looks like that because we can just we don't need anything. To this number we're going to add 1 to it. So plus 1. Then we need to do the exponent. So I would click on this one, I click on this button here. And it's going to be the exponent of 720. Because 2 times 365 is 720. So essentially what I've done is this part of the equation so far. Okay? So my last step is I'm going to multiply this by 2,000. So my answer is going to be, oops, 296,118, 296,118. So if I didn't pay off my credit card, after 2 years, I owe $2,961. Okay? One second here. I gotta answer. I might have made a calculation here. 365 times 2. Oh, it should have been 730. You're right. That should have been 730. So I got the wrong answer. Let me go. Who's that, Paris? You're killing me, Paris. 2977.40. Good. So, go. No, what they do, like hypothetically, like if I died, whatever debts I would have, well, depends when you die. Like life insurance, you get life insurance. Like I have life insurance right now. That if I die, there'd be enough money to pay off the house and the like some debts, right? So like they would go after like the creditors who I owe money would like the life insurance would go pay for that first, right? Before it got everything split up. Or let's say my debts were more than my life insurance, and it would take like when they'd say, okay, like it'd be passed on. Like it'd be part of my house would have to be sold. Like my house would have to be sold. They take part of that. All that would be like settled. All that would be settled before before inheritances were given out. Who muted? So, okay. We can do this last question if you want, but it's another one where you're looking for the principal instead of the amount. So it looks like this.